So I think if I'm hearing all this correctly, is that in some cultures, you would expect to do bragging in a more forthcoming way, more definitive way. I want to use the metaphor louder. I don't literally mean louder as in American louder, but you would do it more. And in other cultures, like I think Goldman Sachs has historically had a culture where if you had a success, you sent it out and you expect to do that at least once a week to say, here's the success. It's kind of, that's the norm there. And you'll find other cultures and other countries where you do less and you're a little quieter about it, meaning you do it less often or less in a big way. Okay, I can see that. But at the end of the day, in every culture, what you're telling me is there is still some form of bragging.
Most definitely. And I think the world is changing. So go back to the example from Japan where they're starting to see because of social media, people being allowed to. They're not allowed to speak it, but they're allowed to write it. And
Yeah.
so especially sports stars get a pass. And that's what my research found is who gets a pass on openly bragging and really self-promoting and being really bombastic about it and loud. Like who gets that pass and then who has to really do it on, being that quiet, but how do we become the beacon, right? That's what I want people to say. It's a beacon position. It's being the signal and not the noise. And if we can think about it that way, that we're sending the signal. So, yes, if you are trying to transmit it to your boss through mind reading, what other signals can you put
Mhm.
around? Because you
Mhm.
are in a very much a culture that doesn't really want bragging and self promotion. So, what does that look like? But because so many of us are now playing on larger fields, and if you are working for a small company, you're probably, working with clients that are bigger than you. And so
Yeah.
you need to signal to them, yes, here are our successes. And when your whole team is so afraid of talking about success, they get in front of the client and then they can't say, well, here's why you should hire us. That happens. You
Yes.
can't say why I should hire you. You can't say why you're the best. Well, we just do the work. Well, no, like
Right.
you need to be able to
Right. Why?
articulate that as a team, and people don't.
Right.
And it's even those small conversations on the way to the elevator, on the way to dinner, that people aren't willing to talk about themselves, that the client has to pull it out, then we don't have confidence in
Right.
them. And I'm not screaming for the big, what we think of the American bravado, which
Right.
actually isn't true too. But it's not that we don't have to be that loud, bombastic way.